G'day everyone, welcome to episode 3. This week's episode is brought to you again by New Choice Homes. A New Choice Home isn't just built for last, it's built for life. They focus on quality design and exceptional customer service. Episode 3, and we're already getting sponsors. That's how well this is going. This is absolutely taken off. And speaking of taking off, this bloke we've got on today, oh boy, I'm excited to have a chat with him. Nick Kommer. He's got one of the best risers in footy that you'll see from the Scarborough Footy Club in the Amos. I think it was Scarborough. And then now after Essendon, now at East Ferro Footy Club, of course, Comsy. How are you, champion?
Good, thank you, Jordan. I'm well. Had a good day and looking forward to getting involved in SNADchat. I've heard good things. I've seen good things.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it as well, mate. And you have been begging to come onto this, absolutely begging me. The text message I've been getting from you almost every day, just the abuse, and you're finally here. Surely you're happy with that now.
Yeah, that's not a word of a lie. I do want to get on. You've had a couple of stinkers so far. I wanted to get some quality on the show. And obviously you get your big guns on, so cheers.
Yep, we're going up. We're certainly making our way up from Juppy, the first one. Just really a trial run, that one, wasn't it? J-Mac.
Yeah, it was a big knocker.
All right, let's get into it, mate. So last night, we were back as a full squad training. We're back into it now. We're a couple of weeks out from the restart of it. How has it been back for you?
Yeah, good to get back into full training last night. In terms of just full squad work, getting paired up with your best 22 out there makes training a lot, for me, more enjoyable. And we got to just start doing some more skill drills, a little bit of handball game, which helps with, I suppose, developing our own games and the younger players. And less just running around the oval, back and forward running. So it was good to just get some footy, basically.
Yeah, and your pre-season was a bit interrupted with you had your shoulder surgery. So the extended break's probably done your 35-year-old legs probably the world of good. You've been actually running all right for once out there.
So I actually have been feeling good. Probably the best I've felt since about 2013. So that's pretty good. So that's a long time ago too, by the way. Shoulder is pretty much 100. I haven't done a heap on it contact-wise because we haven't been able to, but we'll get that in over the coming weeks. And fitness-wise, legs feeling pretty good. Outrunning blokes like yourself. So there you go. Cheers.
Yeah, you are at the orange cone. I'm still at yellow. That is a bit of an issue, actually. Oh, well. Let's get into it anyway, mate. Let's talk about the rise. So you're doing your thing out at Scarborough, battling away, and then you've ended up at the Bombers within the space of about 3 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Talk us through that rise, mate, from your perspective and how it all came about.
Okay, well, you just said battling away. I'll correct you straight away. Getting 35 and 5 is pretty good in the ammo, so we'll start there. Went from initially was at Claremont, where I played my Colts. We were a pretty good team. Matt Fife, Ryan Neitz, Travis Collier, Garrick Weed, and Nicky Wimmer. Lots and lots of draftees from that one. We won the premiership that year by 100 points against Peel. Big year for those young kids. They all got drafted. I didn't. I'm not sure why. Probably because I was no good. And then when I moved from the Colts up to the league training in that next pre-season, I wasn't probably going to make the league midfield. So I got asked to just come back next year, basically, essentially. So they said, do you want to go play at an A-grade club? And I said, well, no, I'd rather just go play at my local club with my mates, which was C-grade at the time. So I moved back to Scarborough to play a year of footy. And obviously we went pretty well. We made the grand final that year in Scarborough. We lost the grand final, unfortunately, but I had a pretty good year. Made the All-Australian team for the amateurs, which was cool experience. Got to go to South Africa with 5 other blokes from West Australia, 5 blokes from South Australia, Vic, Tassie, and a couple of New South Wales guys that made it, which was cool. And then East Perth contacted me, came down and did a pre-season with them, and then played a couple of Resi's games, and then ended up playing most of the rest of the year in the league, and then another league year, and then got drafted off the back of my second year in the Waffle at 21.
Beautiful. Humble beginnings, isn't it? 35 and 5 in the ammo, so keeps your feet on the ground, that's for sure. And then, yeah, you're off to Essendon, mate. You spent, I think it was 5 years there? 4 years, riddled with injuries, unfortunately, but you came in steaming hot and you played most of your first season. Is that correct? Yep. With your big long dreadies. And talk us through those 4 years, because it was interesting. You had injuries, you played some good footy, and then obviously the saga. We won't talk too much about that, but for 4 years, mate, how was that?
Yeah, it was a good experience. So obviously, before I got drafted, I got invited over by Essendon, and they said obviously no certainty of getting drafted, but train for a month with the group before the draft and see how you go. So I got that opportunity, which was good. So I flew over off my own bat, put myself up, ended up getting drafted, fortunately enough, and trained pretty well. Like, I was pretty eager. I was 21. I was probably the fittest of my life then. So got into a position where I could play a high half forward role, up and down the ground. Like, no one really wanted to play it, but I was just pigeonholed myself and got in there. And luckily ended up playing, debuted round one of my first year, and then ended up playing 19 games in my first year, which was good. Unfortunately, that year, as everyone is aware, Essendon got kicked out of the finals because it was on the back end of their 2012 drug saga, which didn't really impact me greatly, other than the fact that I missed out on playing a potential finals game and going into finals, because we were quite a good team in 2013. But more on the side of just my mates getting ridiculed and stuff was reasonably tough. But and then from then on in, injuries set in. I had hurt my knee, a bit of medial, got a clean out in the pre-season of next year. Didn't play all that year, pretty much. Played one VFL game, came back, got another scope. And then took about 3 months off, came back to WA, tried to get the knee right, ended up playing nothing really again in 2015, and then got probably 4 or 5 VFL games in towards the end of the year, and then got another knee operation at the end of that year, and then kind of got right. And then 2016, though, as most football players are aware, the game moves pretty quickly and it changes a lot. And in that 2 to 3 year period, the game had passed me by. The game was a little bit quicker than what I used to be. I wasn't quite as fit, wasn't quite as explosive as I used to be. So I weaseled out a couple more AFL games and a couple more VFL games, and that's basically all she wrote.
Yeah. And what about those games? So you've had a handful over the course of the 4 years. What are some of the games that stick out to you?
Debut, big one. It was at Adelaide. They were a good team at the time. We were an up and rising team.
Was that the game you got on top? Absolutely.
Yeah, I did.
Is that game?
I did get stiff armed by Tex Walker. No shame in that. He's a big horse, so I'll happily take that on.
I didn't realise that was your debut, actually. I thought that was sort of halfway through. I didn't realise that was your debut.
Yeah, I was 75 kilos ringing wet, and the big fella just gave one right in the middle of my sternum, and I went flying. It basically folded in half, and he went one way and I went the other. I got the last laugh, though. I got the win, kicked the stealer. No worries, cheers. Don't worry about it, Tex. And that was my first game. It was really good. We got the chocolates, which was good. Round 3 was probably my favourite that year. We got absolutely hammered in the media. Came to WA, my home track, played Fremantle against Subi, who ended up making the grand final that year, and we beat them in a genuine thriller, 3 or 4 points. Really good hit out. Another good one was, again, coming back to WA, beat West Coast here in another thriller where Job obviously infamously got booed for 4 quarters of footy, which was interesting. And then just other games against, like, Collingwood. Unfortunately, I was suspended for my the opportunity to play an Anzac Day game, but playing in front of Carlton and Collingwood, in front of 80,000, 90,000 people is a really good experience too.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been. I can't imagine what it'd be like to actually play an Anzac Day game. You see it every year, and it doesn't surprise me that you were suspended for that game either. So, had you played that, I reckon that probably would have been close number one after the debut game for sure. And then obviously a finals game would have been nice too. And nowadays, mate, believe it or not, you and I are very similar, and I'll explain why. We're both PTs, we're both doing a teaching degree, and we're both absolutely lapping up what ScoMo is dishing out in the financials. So what does the future hold for Nick Kommer? So obviously you've got a little bit left in your teaching degree. Talk us through what life looks like in the future.
Well, hopefully, much like our friend Cameron Erdley, become a PE teacher. Hopefully get my foot in the door at some sort of PSA school, which would be nice. Run a little bit of the footy program, hopefully, and just saw the Waffle Commish get a $9 million job, so get on the end of that somehow. I don't know what Dottie must be doing down at the club, but the club hasn't seen any of it. And,
brown paper bags.
Not too sure. Other footy-wise, I was saying to a couple of mates that, I want to give it up, but at the end of the day, I do love running out on Saturday arvos with the boys. I still get super competitive at training, so I can still see I've got the passion for it. It's just whether my body holds up or not, because still can teach these young kids a thing or two, I think. And I probably will play for as long as I can.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think you averaged about 2 unofficial retirements a week through pre-season. At least.
Yeah, well, when you're getting them kicked at your shoelaces and then missing you by 5 meters and then all that jazz, I just wanted them to tit for once.
Who's kicking them to you? Because it definitely wouldn't be me.
I think Juppy.
Okay. Now, big on footy trips on this. Very big on footy trips, and you also, you live for the footy trip. Where have you been? You've obviously done Bali. You did Bali a couple of years ago with these Ferrari boys. Where else have you been? That's probably up there.
Vegas, but that's a story for another time. I think that one. That was at the end of 2013, first year at Essendon. Genuine go. LA into Vegas, into LA, I lost all count of it. We'll leave that one. Hong Kong, really good. We've done a couple of Sydneys, not so good. Bali was really good. I had a bit of a shock with the guys. Nearly died, dehydration / food poisoning / alcohol poisoning, all the above. Altitude sickness too, maybe. Tough at the top. And then couple of good times.
Oh, and operators. So you tell everyone that you're one of the better operators on footy trip. I'll take your word for it. But who else have you seen? Essendon, East Freo, Scarborough. I don't even know if you would have done a footy trip out there.
We did a couple, but you wouldn't know any of those guys. One of the Essendon guys that's an East Freo man, Cale Hooker. Loves the footy. Always goes. Never misses. I don't think he's ever missed one. So that's a really good tick for an East Freo boy, Cale Hooker. So he's a good man. Couple other guys over there, Tate Pears, Tom Bell Chambers, big boys, can drink a lot of beers. They can do some damage, which is, you kind of get out of their way. A couple of Hurricane boys.
A couple of absolute really units.
Yeah, a couple of absolute big boys, cool there. And then didn't mind Jack Perham's work when he was here, another old head, so we probably do some similar activities. We shoot the shit together a bit more than the younger guys who go off and carry on like pork chops. Timmy Schofield was good, an ex-guy, ex-Freo guy. He was good. And then, it's pretty good little wrap-up. I haven't been on another one. We need to set one up at the end of this year, which is good. Maybe that could be your role.
Probably not. Seeing as we can't go overseas, that might be a bit tough. Could do one down south though. Could we do one down south?
We could go to New Zealand.
Oh yeah, we could do New Zealand.
Up there. Yeah. We could do it out
look,
south. But I think
we
a few
could-
boys like to get out of the country for no apparent reason. Other than,
you being one of them.
yeah.
I actually don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll actually
Groundbreaking.
keep tabs on that one. I'll let Juppy know. Let him handle
Yeah.
that.
That's good.
Anyway, now before we start this, I'll also ask you, we're gonna, in honor of you being a nippy little snipering little forward pocket, to come up with your top three that you've seen, ply their trade, just blokes who you'd love to play with, but if you're playing against them, you want to give them one straight across the chop. So blokes who, what's the criteria we're going for here? Forward pocket, just annoying, just little rat, anything.
Perfect.
So we're going to go tit for tat. We're going to go our third, our second, and then our top rated, mate.
Yeah.
You can kick us off. Who have you got?
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll have to put in Valentine, so he can come in at 3, just because actually good forward pocket in the end of the day. He's kicked a lot of goals. He's played a lot of games. And like you said, you just want to chip him. For no apparent reason, he's just niggle. Doesn't dish out heaps of hits and stuff like that, but his niggle's just elite. And playing against him, you want to whack him. And actually, if he's on your team, I'd imagine he'd be a pleasure to play with because he's a bit of banter.
Yep, I can imagine. I like it. Good start. I have gone with my number 3. I've gone with Steve Johnson. So I don't know if he actually is a traditional small forward. He's actually quite tall, but he was playing alongside some big units. So, but he was a gun. Like, he actually changed goal kicking in some sense. And obviously I've never played against him, but apparently, from all reports, very good on the lip. And I like that a lot. So he comes in at number 3 for me. Number 2, mate.
Number 2, this is purely on sniping ability, and that's Byron Pickett. Best sniper almost to ever play the game.
Nice. Like it.
Back when you could iron blokes out, genuinely, he was the king of it. Point of the shoulder, on the edge of the chin, would get blokes.
Love it. I'm actually sorry I didn't put him in my top 3 now because I actually love his highlights. I went at number 2. I went Milne just because he's the tip rat. He's the king. He is James Brayshaw's little pet. Just done as well. It's like 500-600 goals, I'm pretty sure, as a small forward, which is incredible. And just funny. He's actually, to listen to him talk is actually piss funny as well. Just his lisp. Dead funny. And he was good to watch as well. And being a big St Kilda fan growing up, he was one of my guys. It was Rewalt, Del Santo, Milne. He was one of my guys. So Milne cops number 2. And now at number 1, mate. Top of the list. Who have you got? Is it you?
No, it's not myself, because I didn't qualify. If I had played more games, I would have definitely snuck myself in there. But it's Alan Didak, who I never got to play against, but by all accounts, similar to Steve Johnson, good on the chirp. Didn't really make that much sense. Apparently not that smart, but just would chirp and carry on. And he was so good. He was so good as well, like skillful, had a bit of swag about him. You'd hate to play against him. Your teammates obviously loved him. And he's a bit part of the Rat Pack, so he loved getting on the gear.
Yep. Okay. Tick, count it. Yep. Beautiful. Love it. Yes, he was a skillful player. I have gone number 1. I've gone push up. JT King. And only because, I actually don't think he's a very good footballer. Well, I say that back. He's a good footballer, but he's a role player. And I love him because all I do, I'll probably watch it once a month, is the video of him getting belted by your number 1, Didak, in that massive 18v18 brawl where the MCG, when BT is calling it. He's pretty much gotten my number 1 just because BT and, again, James Brayshaw just commentate the life out of him and push up. I just love any commentary around him. I lap it up. So
Yeah.
He has made my number one. Fair to say, though, out of those 6 players, pretty handy forward line. So, in honour of you, mate. In honour of you, mate. So, you'd be happy with that. And I'm actually surprised you didn't put yourself in your top 3. I was expecting that. So, anyway, mate, that just about wraps up our little chat. So, very much appreciate yourself jumping on. It was good fun chatting with you, and can't thank you enough. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into the games in a couple of weeks' time. So I think we've only played maybe 1 or 2 games with each other over the 2 years. Either one of us has been injured, so how good's footy, eh? Anyway, mate, appreciate you coming on, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Yeah, awesome. Thanks very much. It was a good experience. You're a good man. Take care. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.